Hello, my name is Esther Marson, and I will be presenting on Third Federal Savings and Loans. The Third Federal Savings and Loans, particularly the one in Cleveland, Ohio, is one of the largest savings and loans in Cleveland. Their headquarters is actually in Broadway, and they've been open since 1938. It was founded by Ben Stefanski with only $50,000 in capital. They opened on the 7th of May, 1938. And by 1940 have 3 offices, one of which is the one in Broadway, which is still there now. And by 1948, President Stefanski at the time had assets that had grown over $9 million. The greatest period of growth in the Third Federal's history came in the 1970s, when 6 mergers increased its holdings by $200 million. And by 1983, the savings alone has 16 branches and $1.08 billion in assets. Third Federal's policy was always to offer savings and checking accounts, make home mortgages, keep a strong capital base, and maintain a cost-effective operation. In 1985, it was the leading mortgage in Cleveland area, writing mortgages over $152 million. Its nearest competitor wrote over $130 million, and they were Ameritrust. Ben Stefanski retired as the chief executive officer in 1988, but is maintained in the family because his son Mark Stefanski took his position. And from in store, he made some changes as well to the company. And by then they had 25 branch offices in Northeast Ohio, nearly $5 billion in assets, and a net worth of $500 million at the end of 1994. And then in 1999, Third Federal purchased Ocean Mark Bank in North Miami Beach, here based in Florida, with $70.5 million deposits and assets for $12.5 million. So they were doing pretty well, and they began to expand from Cleveland, Ohio to the Miami area, particularly because it is a retirement zone and they are more in the savings and lending industry. And this was one of their major market areas. Third Federal was able to put itself on the map by becoming the largest savings and loans association here in the United States in 2000. By 2003, their assets had exceeded $8 billion, with $2 billion in deposits in the Florida branches alone. They continue to be headquartered at the 7007 Broadway. And at the time, Mark Stefanski remained the CEO and chairman on the board. So the transition from father to son did go pretty well. Looking at their financial data from 2006, 2007, 2008, you could rightfully conclude that they are doing very well despite the economic conditions, mainly in the baking industry. You will notice increases in various stages in their income statement. Their assets increased 5%. Majority of the growth in assets are from borrowed funds, which was about $500 million in 2008. They also had an increase in deposits, which was offset by decreasing retained earnings. But overall, their financial data does show an improvement from 2006, 2007, and 2008, although those are the years of the economic downfall in the banking industry. Majority of their assets and liabilities are monetary in nature, so most of their significant former market risk is in the interest rate risk, excuse me. In general, their assets consist primarily of mortgage loans, which have long maturities, and their liabilities consisting primarily of deposits. As a result, a principal part of their business strategy is to manage interest rate risk and limit the exposure of their net interest income to changes in the market interest rates. One of the reasons Third Federal Savings and Loans Association of Cleveland are able to do so well in the banking industry, particularly savings and loans, is because of their lower mortgage rates. They offer the lower rates provided in the Cleveland area and also in the Florida area as well, where they have a few branches. In examining the Third Federal Savings and Loans Association of Cleveland, we noticed that there is a lot of strengths. As I said, they offer the lowest mortgage rates in the industry and the Cleveland area, and they were managed to have mortgages of over their competition. So they're strengthening in the sense that they have built that customer relation where they have made the name for themselves, put themselves on the map that this is where you can get the lowest mortgage rates. So their weaknesses, it would just be their industry. Gaining the trust of the consumers once again up into the banking industry, because they're not so well known only in the two states, as being as broad as they are, because they're not well known. A lot of consumers would be hesitant if they're not a major name, such as Bank of America or Washington Mutual. So their weaknesses is just to expand it, a little bit more advertising, put their name on the map, make everyone know that they're not just in Cleveland or in the South Florida area, but they can provide services all around in the U.S. and hopefully in the near future the global sector as well. There's opportunities for them to expand, so if they continue with their policies and procedures that work so well in these areas, they can work in other areas as well. There are opportunities in other developmental areas that need mortgage lenders, which would be the Georgia area, the South Carolina area, and the southern areas as well, areas that are developing quickly, Louisiana. So there's opportunities in the United States for them to grow. Their only threat would be their competition. Their competitions are advertising at a much more exposure rate than they are. So they have that threat that they're not well known, to gain that trust from the consumers to get the clientele that they would prefer. But nevertheless, they are doing very well in Cleveland and in the North Miami area. Recent FIU graduates could probably find employment in the Third Federal Savings and Loan if they would prefer to move to the Cleveland area. Their website do provide a list of opportunities available, but at this time there only appears to be 2. So they don't, because of their size, they don't exactly have a wide range of selections that you can choose from. In particular, they don't cater to the FIU graduates, but they are welcoming anyone with the experience. So FIU graduates with any type of banking experience would definitely benefit and be a candidate for the further positions. FIU does offer a certificate in banking, so finance majors that would like to incorporate that with their degree could probably make their resume more complimentary for the hiring staff at Third Federal Savings and Loan. And so that concludes my presentation. Thank you for viewing Group 7's presentation on Third Federal Savings and Loans.